Okay, hello. I am walking and I wanted to film something real quick because I haven't filmed properly, with a microphone and everything in a while. I haven't sat down to film anything in a long time, good lord. Okay, but it is, sorry about the wind, can't do anything about that. It is Christmas Eve, so Wednesday, December 24th, 2025. It is about 6 p.m. The time doesn't really matter, but the date, I wanted to put the date so I could easily have the... Oh god, there's so much going on, sorry. So I could easily know what's going on when sorting videos and stuff. I am shocked, surprised, not the most organized person. I wanted to give just a quick update. I may just release this video just unedited. Sorry about the verticalness of it and the fact that shaky cam, under the chin angle, walking outside, low light. I do not care. If you've seen any other videos on my channel, it's very clear that I do not care. I have ideas for videos I want to make that are good quality. I'm not going to do those anytime soon. Oh my god, I'm dying. Sorry. Oh my god, sorry. Having indigestion. So basically what I want to do is I want to make a video about specifically like a real video specifically about the dog cafe that my dog came from. I do need to do some more digging and research, and I want to even get interviews from people who saw the dog cafe and went there and understand what's going on and the shelter that the dogs, oh my god, were relinquished to and all that jazz, right? Without full context of what's going on, that's not going to make a whole lot of sense. But that's one of the good videos that I want to make. The quality, I want to actually put effort and time into it. I want to potentially even hire an editor to do the editing, because I do not care about, I will never do editing. I will never learn how to do editing. I do not care. I simply do not care. Another video I want to do is I kind of want to get into certain aspects of, the cars are so loud, certain aspects of animal rescue in Korea, and what it's like and what the community is like, and specifically the foreign community, and then also some of what it actually, going on site to rescues and the really horrible shelters and the meat farms and everything feels like and is like. I want to kind of make that video and release it. But there's so many different facets of the animal rescue, specifically the dog rescue community in every country, but because a rescue means a lot of different things. It can mean rehoming, it can mean taking dogs from kill shelters, it can mean fostering, it can mean adopting, it can mean rescuing dogs off streets, it can mean breaking dogs out of abusive situations. It can mean a lot of different things. It can mean running a private shelter of your own. It could mean 100 different things, and each person defines it differently. But I think it's important to kind of try to give a glimpse for the rest of the world, because we have a lot of people who are they think that Korea is a beautiful utopia, and that if you talk about how a lot of Koreans don't treat dogs and cats very well, then it's racist because you're saying they're eating dogs. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that they're quite abusive to dogs as a society, because it's an inconvenience to humans, according to them. So there's still this mindset. There's, I would say, about 3 different mindsets to dogs in Korea. I love them, they're so sweet, so cute. Maybe 4. I love dogs, they're so sweet, so cute. They like all dogs, they're cool with all kinds of dogs for the most part. There's I say I love dogs, but I only really like the ones that don't cause me inconvenience. The ones that are quiet, the ones that are small, and the ones that don't shed. You don't love dogs. You want a little doll that you can post on Instagram. That's all you want. You don't love dogs. You'll throw that dog away the second it makes a noise in your house. Like, you don't care, you know? But you don't hate dogs. That's the difference, right? Whereas there's the other two categories are I hate dogs. Like, that's the category of, like, I hate dogs. I kick them. I feed the stray dogs in my town poison so they die. I shoot dogs. Like, hating, like, deliberately abusing and harming animals. And that's quite a lot of people here, actually, shockingly enough. And then the other last category is, it doesn't really matter how they feel about dogs, they do still eat dogs. Like, that's less people than it was like 10, 15 years ago. But there are still people there. Like, dog meat was only banned, I think, this year. Like, and there are still people, like, I had a man genuinely look at my dogs and look at me and go, I would really like to eat them. Like, as if that wasn't a crazy thing to say to someone who has pets, you know? Like, I'm not going to get into my own opinions on the morality of eating dogs and cats. It's a bit of a messy area because it's a cultural thing. It is meat. It is, like, you know, what's the difference between a dog and a cow, you know, other than your opinion on it. Like, it's a personal opinion thing. I don't want to get into the ethics of it. It's kind of, like, too much for me right now, and it's not what this is about. But, like, I'm not particularly upset about the fact that dogs were a source of meat, or may even still be in Korea. That's not what upset me about this. I actually wasn't even really upset. I was kind of like, wow, that was crazy that he said that to my face, right to me. Looked me in the eyes. And I was like, what did you think would happen? But it was really funny because he was like an older Korean man, like an older middle-aged, like, I don't know if it's middle-aged, actually. Like, I would say 60 at the youngest, but, like, not yet in his 80s. You know, somewhere, like, I wouldn't even say he would have been 70. He was probably in his 60s. Like, not that old. Definitely had grown up during the time when eating dogs was allowed and normal. Like, but, so, like, he might just like to eat, like, it's, I don't know. He seemed like he meant it, but he didn't seem, like, malicious about it. He wasn't like, I'm gonna steal them and eat them, I hate dogs. No, it was just like, oh, that reminds me, I miss eating dog meat. Like, that's crazy to say to someone. But then an older lady who was similar to his age, probably, just didn't even look at him, and she was like, shut up. Like, girl, that's crazy. I wasn't personally, like, offended. I was just like, wow, what the hell? That's so strange. So, like, there are people in Korea who do still want to eat dogs. Typically, it's more rural, older men. And unfortunately, those are the same guys who tend to, like, patronize the breeding farms or the meat farms or even run them. A lot of times the people who actually hate dogs and wish harm upon dogs run the breeding and meat farms, but they sell to the guys that don't really have any feeling negative or positive about dogs. They just eat them. Kind of like the way I would feel about a cow, you know? I mean, I don't hate cows, but I don't love cows. I'm not going to be outraged if somebody killed a cow to make a burger, but I'm also not going to, like, kill the cow myself. Like, I like cows, but, like, I eat beef. Like, it's that kind of mindset. Like, I like pigs, but I eat pork, you know? So that kind of mindset. There are people in Korea that have that kind of mindset about dogs. They're not as common to find in the city, and they're not going to be the ones that talk to foreigners as much. And meanwhile, all this conversation that I was telling you about all happened in Korean. Like, he said it in Korean. I don't even know if he was saying it to me. He was just saying it at me, which, again, it wasn't like a malicious thing. It was kind of funny. But I want to, like, make a video about some of the different aspects of animal rescue, but I don't know if I want to make a very, like, base level touching on every aspect of it, or if I want to go into, like, the community, because the community is, wow, that's tea. That's rotten inside. There's a lot of mess in there. And I think it needs to be exposed, to be honest. But I don't know. I don't really want to make an enemy of people when I have 3 foster dogs I need to get to new homes. I do think that the corruption within the animal rescue community could be an interesting topic of video, because I'm not big enough as a creator. I'm not even a creator. So, like, I don't have a big enough audience to, like, get a bunch of lawsuits. But I have enough of an audience for people to see the video and maybe send it out to other people that they know so they can be informed if I make a good enough video. And in this case, I'm talking like these good videos. I'm talking like commentary style video. Oh god, I touched my screen. Video essay commentary style videos, that type of thing. Ow, my ankle. Oh god. But then also another video that I really want to make is, and this is the one that I'm kind of gathering like footage for right now. Like as the current days pass, I'm gathering this footage and evidence. Is for what's it truly like to navigate the job market as an ESL teacher in South Korea, specifically the Hagwon job market. Because I found, I don't want to say too much, but I found a recruiter who basically doxes people. Not basically, he does. He doxes teachers because he basically has like an online store. Like, you go to his website, you don't have to log in or anything. There's no authentication, nothing, right? You just, AI could scrape this website. Like, it's very scary stuff. You go on google.com and you search the name of his agency, and then you can click on the website, click on the teacher section. So there's 2 sections. There's sections for teachers to look at, like reference for teachers. That takes you to a different URL. If you click on the for employers, that takes you to the same URL but another page, right? Same like basic.com site. The other one is like a .something-else.com or vice versa, whatever it is, right? It's not .com, but like that, for example. So what's extra crazy about it is that you click on the teachers section, like it's for employers to basically shop for new teachers, essentially. It's an online meat market for teachers, and it's only foreign teachers. It's not Korean teachers. There's other online meat markets for them, I guess, or maybe they follow proper recruitment requirements. I don't know, but they don't do that for foreigners here at all. And basically, you click on, it shows your name, your nationality, your date of birth, with like all of the digits of the date of birth, all this stuff, right? And I'm going to be honest, in Korea, your foreigner resident cards, like alien ID card, we call it ARC, alien registration card. So basically your ID in Korea, it doesn't ever change. You cannot have 2 separate numbers. So if someone figures out what your ARC number is, you're screwed, right? And the first 6 digits is your birthday. Your year, month, day, whatever the order is, your birthday. And then usually to authenticate yourself, you just type those first 6 in, and then you type in 1 digit of the second half of that. I believe the next set is 6 or 7 numbers. And of course, if you only have to type in 1 digit, you just have to guess from 0 to 9. So you could very easily pretend to be this person if you know their full birth date. But that's not even the worst thing this does. It has pictures of these people. It has their job preferences. It has what cities they live in. It has their job experience. And it has their home address with the room number, the unit number. So this man is doxing people. And I'll be honest, in America, that's a violation of your personal privacy, right? But in Korea, that's a extreme. Like, your full name could be considered personal information in Korea. Oh god, the wind. Sorry. So your full name could be considered that, and they have full names on this website. Like, it's very bad. Also on the website, they have for the for teachers section, giving advice and information for teachers. There's just straight up lies. just straight up lies that Hagwons try to peddle to you. And now this is not a Hagwon, this is a recruiter. So the recruiters are supposed to be separate from the Hagwons and separate from the teachers. You're not supposed to have any conflict of interest like that. So you're supposed to basically have like a recruiter is just a broker to connect employees and employers. That's all it should be, right? But because you're hiring people who need visa sponsorship most of the time, you also kind of have to guide the teacher through, through the visa stuff. Jesus. And so that kind of means that you kind of become their almost like consultant or like their advisor in a way. And so when you're a foreigner coming to Korea specifically, if you have not spent a lot of time in Korea, you trust your recruiter to not fuck you up. But they always do, because they don't care about you. They care about the money. And the way a recruiter gets paid is after they place a teacher at a Hagwon, and then that teacher successfully works at that Hagwon for 3 months and 1 day. On day 1 of month 4, the Hagwon will send the payment to the recruiter. And it's anywhere between 1 million won to like 3 million won. So basically like a full month of teacher salary for one teacher. So because these recruitment companies are you're supposed to follow a certain set of ethics to the point where you have to pass like an exam in Korea to even be allowed to get a license for recruitment. Like it's kind of like in America when you get your real estate license, they teach you not only like the way the market works and the laws around it, but also like ethics. It's also kind of like journalism. There's a specific code of ethics that you have to follow, otherwise you're like a shady person, right? But in this case, you don't need a license to be a journalist, at least not in the US, I think. In Korea, you can go to jail for illegal recruiting. If you are recruiting without a proper license, damn, you're screwed, right? Better hope nobody finds out and reports you, because that's crazy. So, most recruiters are illegal recruiters. And a lot of them will have their businesses based out of other countries to avoid Korea's laws. But they're working within Korea, which is such bullshit. And there's no punishment that they can get, because even if they're living and working in Korea, if their business is based out of a different country, Korea won't even try to prosecute, which is such a shitty loophole. Because you don't have to live in another country to have your business based out of there a lot of the time. So, like, that sucks. But whatever, I guess. Ooh. So a lot of times there's really not much you can do, but sometimes there is. And sometimes it's one recruiter that has a real license, but they have multiple employees working for them, and they all act as recruiters as well, illegally. And if you can get the police to investigate, maybe you can get them taken down. But these kind of like, I call them teacher mills, because it's kind of like recruiters, they're not creating new teachers, but they're like really rushing to place as many teachers as possible in 1 month. Because if like maybe 10% of the teachers don't end up working out, and you place one let's say you place 10 teachers per month, quite a lot of work in 1 month for one person, but let's say you do, at least one of them isn't going to work out. So instead of making 20 million won, you're only going to make 18 million won, which, oh god, my throat closed up, isn't that big of a deal, because you're still making a buttload of money, right? But most people aren't going to be placing 10 teachers by themselves. So that's a lot of work, that's a lot of time, there's a lot of effort put into it. And it depends on how good or bad the market is, right? So that's why most recruiters will hire partners or other recruiters alongside them. Whether or not they're licensed, that's a different story. And they have partnerships with certain schools, typically Hagwons. And so, whatever. There's only a certain amount of Hagwons. And the thing is, the recruiters will prefer to work with Hagwons that have high turnover rates, because then you can place teachers more. So, like, if a Hagwon consistently has like a every 6 months there's a turnover rate, the recruiter can make loads of money going there because they can just, I don't know what buckloads is, buttloads, I don't know. But basically they can make a ton of money because they still get that 3 month success like period. So they still get paid, but they have a never ending like place to put teachers. Basically, and that's part of the ethics issue because these recruiters are focused solely on money and they're not really worried about the safety or the well-being of the teachers or the students. Keep in mind, these are kids that are being affected by this. In my first academy that I worked at, I saw firsthand what having a high turnover rate for at least specifically one classroom did to the kids. These poor kindergartners were like traumatized. Every time a new teacher would come into their classroom, they would get defensive. They would cry and they would go hug their current teacher because like, don't leave me. It's like, I'm just observing so I can learn how the job works. Like, because they had like 6 different teachers in 1 year. Like this Hagwon was a nightmare. This was my first Hagwon job in Korea. It was really bad. Horrifically abusive. Horrible stuff. But that aside, the recruiter still works with that company. The Hagwon is gone because the owner died. Thank God. He was a horrible person. He was a dangerous person. He was a criminal. Should not have been around kids or humans in general. He should have been locked away. Sorry, I'm really exhausted now. Oh my God. Oh Jesus. The train is so loud. Oh.
지금 동료 앞 가는 열차가 들어오고 있습니다. The train bound for Dongyo is now approaching.
Okay, cool. Cool, bestie.
지금 들어오는 열차는
It's gonna get loud here in a minute. Sorry, I'll probably cut this out of the video. I'm gonna cut all that out. Hopefully, if I remember to. So basically, the thing with that is like the recruiters will still work with these academies even if they're like horrible, dangerous places. We don't care because it still makes them money. They don't really care about the well-being or safety of the teachers. They care about their money, and if their money is not threatened by the teachers being in danger, they do not care. Especially if they think that they have basically groomed the teachers well enough so that they don't report them, which is what because if you have a recruiter, you trust them. Most recruiters in Korea are Korean or overseas Korean, but they've reintegrated into Korea and they're essentially Korean at this point. God, my phone internet's still on. What? Okay. So basically, with recruiters in Korea, they're professional and they're usually at least mostly from the culture that you're moving to or that they're putting you in. So you tend to trust the professional because you think, oh, they're an industry expert, they know what they're doing, they've done this with many people before. And a lot of recruiters will use testimonials from other teachers, coerced or otherwise, or fake or otherwise, in order to kind of boost their reputation. So like you do get kind of gaslit because if you're sitting there experiencing something less than satisfactory from the recruiter, you look at the reviews and you think, oh, well, other people like them. Other people had a good time with them. Maybe I'm just being difficult because the recruiter is telling me I'm being difficult. Like, I told the recruiter that I wanted, in my first time, I told my recruiter that I wanted a small to mid-sized city, not like tiny, but like smaller, definitely satellite city. And I wanted elementary school students instead of kindergarten, and that I wanted provided housing because that's what most academies get, and then I wanted to bring one dog with me. And she said, that's asking for too much. No, it's not. The only thing that's unusual about that request is that I wanted to bring my dog with me. And I told them that I would be happy to pay for any damages or issues that the dog causes in the apartments. And I know that most Hagwons do have the ability to get dog friendly housing because a lot of teachers have dogs. And the Hagwons are more desperate for teachers than you'd think. So, because the turnover rate is crazy. Sorry. So, they basically they need the teachers. And there are a lot of teachers in Korea, but they're not all going to go to certain cities. The smaller the city, the more desperate the Hagwons are for teachers. The more likely the Hagwons are to close down, but like also the more desperate they are for teachers if they're not closing down yet. So that's kind of the important part. And like if I'm willing to sign a contract that says I'll pay for any damages a dog causes, there's no legal liability for the Hagwon. There's not, right? They'll put everything into a contract and make you sign it, even unfair and illegal stuff. So, like, they very well could have contracted it properly, and I wouldn't have had an issue. But this lady said, I'm not even going to try to find you a school that will let you keep your dog with you. You have to give that up. So this bitch made me give up my dog. And now I'll never see that dog again because he can't fly to Korea. Because I thought originally maybe I could leave him with my parents, which I did. He's living with my parents. He's doing fine. But then maybe later we could save up the money and get him to fly over to Korea. Okay, cool. He's not going to be able to make it. He's too anxious to fly. He would have been fine at the time, but he's not fine now. So we missed the only like few month window that he would be okay. And now I'll never see that dog again.
This stop is Sosa. The doors are on your right. You can transfer
So
to the Soviet line.
this woman basically ruined that part of life for me. It was horrible, and it was because she basically talks me out of the very basic, very below minimum standards that I was asking for from this Hagwon. During COVID, when I was the commodity and the school had no other choice but to like do what I wanted, she talked me into this because she's a liar, and she's a manipulator, and she's a terrible person. And her business is based out of America, not Korea. So can't catch her. She knows a lot of these recruiters, they make their country outside of Korea, but they function within Korea, or they're placing teachers in Korea. And they do that on purpose because they know that they're not going to follow the ethics of recruiting, and they're not going to actually follow the laws of recruiting in Korea. They are already preemptively preparing for lawsuits from disgruntled or harmed teachers. It's terrible. But the majority of English teachers in this country don't know that, and none of the Koreans know that. Absolutely nobody else here knows that. So you only really know this if you have been harmed by a recruiter and you happen to find the information when searching for what to do. That's what happened to me. I didn't know until I had an issue with her, and then I learned. Not everyone spends time trying to build an English teachers labor union in Korea. Not everyone spends time as a chairperson of that labor union in Korea. Not everyone spends time deep diving into the laws of Korea. Not everyone makes good friends with someone who has, for decades, like delved into the laws around English teaching in Korea. Like, I got lucky with the company that I keep. I got lucky with the community that I made. Obviously that luck turned into harassment and stalking, but like that's a different issue. I don't regret it. I don't regret doing that. I don't regret going into that community. I don't regret any of what I've experienced in Korea. But like, people need to know about this stuff, and that's kind of what I want to do. I want to reveal, like, audio and maybe like a censored video from a recruiter meeting. I want to do some audio, maybe censored video from a Hagwon interview. I want to show the contract that they offer me. I want to show, because already I had an interview with the recruiter that doxes people today. And I I want to, like, I recorded it and I already caught him lying. And then when he realized that he had lied, he didn't know I was recording, but when he realized that he had lied, he then kind of corrected it. Like, he said something, I said, like, how many vacation days does this Hagwon give? Because he basically was like, I have a job that might be good for you. Like, immediately. Like, obviously it's not good for me. He doesn't know me yet. He saw my availability date, the date that I said I was available to start working, and that's what he considers to be compatible. That's not compatibility. That's crazy. So, basically, he tried 2 different schools, and one of them I was like, that's not good for me, and the other one he was like kind of wedging me into it, and I was like, yeah, sure, whatever, I'll try it. He doesn't really make it easy for you to say no, and that's like the sales tactic that the recruiters do. I know I'm not going to say yes because I'm going to do my PhD program. I mean, I might take a job if it's a good enough job. Earning some money, earning what this place said they would give me is decent. Definitely decent. It would help. It would take a year between school and stuff. This is, I don't know, I might not, I don't know, it depends. Or I could try to negotiate that I can do my PhD and this one at the same time, and I'll just be on the student visa while I work at the school. I could try that. I don't know. That seems interesting. Seems like it could be worth it. Who knows? I don't know. And if they don't let me do that, I could always just attend university on the working visa. There's no restriction for what visa types can attend universities in Korea. There is restrictions on what visa types can work in Korea, but not who can attend a university. They don't let anybody do that, except for maybe a tourist. I don't. No, you can do it on tourism, but I think it's like certain standards. You have to meet certain standards. Yeah, but like basically, like I might take it. I'm not gonna just like bait these people and waste their time. I am interested in the job, in whatever job he offers me, but like, or whatever interview he offers me, I will take it. But I also kind of want to do some investigative research on it and see what the deal is with it. So I'm interested in trying to record audio, but they said that they want this interview to be in person, which I'm like, ugh. That's harder to get audio of, but I mean, I can still do it. I can record audio from my phone. I can hide a microphone. I don't care. In Korea, it's legal to do that. So I'm thinking about trying to record, whether on audio, video, screen recording, screenshots, whatever, this entire process, and showing just like a sample of what it's like in Korea, to try to find a job as an English teacher, because I think people really need to know. And also because of the labor union stuff that I mentioned before, I do know some reporters. I know some reporters that might be interested in the direct experience of this process. Because this is a big thing. Like, people don't know. People don't know. And people don't even, like, even I haven't considered filming a job application before. Not application, interview. Like, why not? Why haven't I thought to record audio of that before? I've recorded lawyer meetings, I've recorded union meetings, I've recorded a bunch of other stuff, right? Like, I've recorded this recruiter meeting, I've recorded video calls with people, colleagues, I've recorded everything. I've recorded meetings with my boss, I've recorded everything, right? But I have never thought to record a job interview. All of it's legal because in Korea it's a one-party recording country. It's federal thing. So it's a one-party recording rule. So, like, as long as I'm part of the conversation, I can record it. If I'm filming something that other people are saying, if I'm recording something other people are talking about and I'm not part of the conversation, then that's not legal. You can't do that. But if I'm recording audio of a conversation that I'm having with someone, Or if I'm, like, for example, right now I'm talking, but you can hear other people talking in the background, that's not illegal. That's perfectly legal. And you don't have to disclose that you're recording. It's good for safety reasons. Even if the other person tells you, like, I don't give consent for you to record, doesn't matter. Because you gave consent for you to record, and that's what matters. You can't, like, post it publicly, but you can record it. So, yeah, a video, that's different. You can't get a video or photo of someone's, like, face or body without permission. And you certainly cannot post that, but yeah, it is what it is. Sorry, on my brain, I'm trying to think of where I'm going. I don't remember where I'm going. So basically, I want to get a video of that. I want to put that together, and I want it to be well made. I want it to be a good video. I also want the pieces of it to, like, the info, the sources, and everything to go to the reporters if they're interested. I'm curious. I think it's something that needs to be shown globally so that people can know what Korea is really like for foreigners. They don't think of us as people here. Subconsciously, we are not humans in Korea. Because they will just put us on an online shopping center for employers to shop for which teacher they want, with no regard for our personal safety or personal information. Openly, knowingly violating laws, violating our human rights, violating our rights in the country of Korea, with no care in the world, because they don't really give a crap. And I don't think that most Koreans would do anything to try to help. Maybe they would be outraged by it, but they wouldn't be outraged enough to push for change, because it doesn't affect them. So that's the reason that I say Koreans don't really care about us as people. Even though there are Koreans who think of us as people, they don't care about us as people, because they're not willing to put themselves through some sort of discomfort to help stand up for us if it doesn't also negatively affect them. The same thing for each other. They do this for each other too. Able-bodied people don't stand up for disabled people that much in Korea, despite the fact that disabled people have a very high suicide rate, because of course they do. It's a hellish life living as a disabled person in this country. Nothing is accessible here. So it makes total sense. But a Korean person is much more likely, an able-bodied Korean person is much more likely to get annoyed at the inconvenience of having to be near a disabled person than they are to actually stand up and try to help a disabled person. Sorry, I'm dying. Sorry. And same thing for other people's children, other people's wives, other people's siblings, other people's friends, family, whatever. If it doesn't directly affect you, you're not going to get up and do anything about it. There's the exceptions, of course. There are Korean people who are exceptions to that rule, but by the vast majority of it, they won't do it. They'll just sit there and tolerate it, and then complain about it somewhere else. Like, do something. But in my eyes, even if you feel upset about an injustice happening to another person, you don't really care about that person unless you step up and try to do something. You can go ahead and feel angry in your seat all you want. It doesn't do anything for anybody except for you. It benefits you by keeping you comfy. You're not a nice person if you don't actually try.
This stop is Hui.
That, like, obviously there's situations where it's like someone who's in an unsafe situation. Like, if you're pregnant, you're not going to jump into a fight to break it up between two people, you know. Oh God, sorry. If you're going through, like, a mental health crisis, you're not going to put yourself at more risk for conflict by doing that, right? But, like, that's not what I'm talking about here. What I'm talking about is if you habitually sit there and let something bad happen to people all the time and you don't do anything about it, you don't get to claim that you care about them as people, because you don't. The same goes for any type of person, not just Koreans. It just happens so widely in Korea. I've seen it firsthand, personally in Korea. And it's quite terrible. It's quite sad. Yeah, on that note, it's almost 40 minutes of the video. Okay. You know what? I said I was going to do some editing. I'm not. I'm not going to. I don't care. I don't care. I'm not going to cut out the part I said to cut out. I do not care. It doesn't matter. Anyway, yeah. Just wanted to film a quick update. I wanted to talk a little bit about what's going on. Jesus Christ. That's crazy. Yeah, so I just wanted to kind of talk a little bit about what's going on and stuff. I charged my microphone today. That's kind of the main reason I wanted to make a video. So I found and charged my microphone for the first time in a long time. Anyway, I am gonna sign off. I'm gonna go and I'm going to sit down because my body is unwell. Oh, by the way, there might be more health. Jesus. There might be more health updates coming because next week I should get more information about the health tests that I did last week. So we'll see. Bye.